Have you ever walked into a dealership and felt like you were just one signature away from owning the car of your dreams? It's shiny. It smells new. The salesperson says, "Don't worry, we'll work out the numbers." And somehow, within minutes, they show you a plan that works perfectly with your retirement income. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Just because you can make the payment doesn't mean you can afford the car. In fact, for people living on a fixed income, like Social Security, a pension, or a 401k, buying the wrong car can be one of the biggest financial mistakes of retirement. It might not feel that way at first. You'll drive home excited. But 6 months later, when the insurance goes up, or a repair comes out of nowhere, or you need to pay for a surgery, that car might feel less like freedom and more like a financial trap. So before you buy your next vehicle, stop. Because this video is your chance to rethink everything they've told you about affording a car. We're going to talk about the real numbers, the real risks, and how to make decisions that protect your future, not just your driveway. Let's talk about the word that gets thrown around way too easily: affordable. Car ads love it. Dealers use it to build trust, and many retirees cling to it like a lifeline. But affordable can be dangerously misleading, especially when you're no longer working full-time. See, auto financing is designed to stretch your limits. Salespeople don't ask if this car fits your life. They ask what fits your monthly payment comfort zone. If you say, "I can do $500 a month," they'll make it work, even if it means a 6 or 7 year loan that quietly drains your future. Now think about that for a second. You're on a fixed income. You can't pick up extra shifts. You can't get a holiday bonus. What you spend this month directly cuts from something else next month. And yet, many retirees fall into the trap of thinking, if I can swing the payment, then I'm good. But what if your property taxes increase? You need physical therapy? A grandchild needs help with college? Inflation eats into your grocery bill? That affordable car could suddenly become the one thing standing between you and peace of mind. That's not affordable. That's a financial liability with a paint job. Let me tell you about Joe. Joe retired at 67 with no mortgage, a modest pension, and about $300,000 in his 401k. He'd lived frugally his whole life, drove used cars, never splurged. But a few months into retirement, he thought, you know what, I've earned this. So he bought a brand new SUV. It was sleek, it was safe, it was his reward. The payment? $490 a month. Nothing too crazy. At least that's what he thought. But here's what Joe didn't expect. 6 months in, his furnace broke. $4,200. 3 months later, a tree fell on the garage roof. Another $6,000. And at the same time, gas prices shot up and his car insurance went through the roof because the SUV was classified as a higher risk model. Joe started pulling extra money from his retirement account just to stay afloat. And with each withdrawal, he triggered more taxes. His 401k began shrinking faster than expected. One day, over coffee, he looked at me and said, "I love the car, but I hate what it did to the rest of my life." And he meant it. That car payment had eaten into his freedom, the freedom to travel, to help his grandkids, to sleep at night without worrying about bills. Joe didn't make a bad decision out of ignorance. He made it because no one ever taught him how much a car could really cost after the purchase. Let's be real. The sticker price or monthly payment is just the tip of the iceberg. You might think, I'll budget for $400 a month? That's manageable. But owning a car is like inviting a silent roommate into your finances, one that eats a little more each year. Let's break down the true cost of car ownership. 1. Insurance. That shiny new vehicle, it probably costs more to insure than your last one. And if you're on Medicare, you can't afford to overpay for coverage you don't even understand. Many retirees forget to ask for insurance quotes before signing the car deal. 2. Fuel gas isn't just a small weekly expense. With some SUVs or trucks, you might be paying $150, $250 a month, depending on how often you drive. 3. Maintenance and repairs. Sure, it's new now, but wait a few years. Oil changes, tire rotations, new brakes, battery issues. A single repair bill can cost more than a month's Social Security check. 4. Depreciation. The second you drive off the lot, the car loses 10-20% of its value. After 5 years, most cars are worth less than half of what you paid. And here's the kicker, you're not earning new income to make up for these costs. Your retirement savings aren't a renewable resource. Once you spend, it's gone. A car should bring comfort and reliability, yes, but not at the expense of long-term financial stability. That's why smart retirees don't ask, how much is the payment? They ask, what will this car cost me every single year, including the things I'm not seeing on the invoice? Let's talk about one of the sneakiest ways a car can hurt your retirement. Taxes. Imagine this. You're thinking, I'll just pay cash. No monthly payments? Easy. So you pull $25,000 from your IRA or 401k to buy the car outright. What just happened? You didn't just spend $25,000. You increased your taxable income by $25,000. That could push you into a higher tax bracket. Worse, it might trigger IRMA, income-related monthly adjustment amount, which means your Medicare premiums suddenly go up. Now your car didn't just cost you 25 grand, it cost you higher income tax that year, possibly hundreds more in Medicare premiums for the whole next year, and less money compounding in your retirement account. But wait, there's more. Once that money is out of your retirement account, it's gone. If you get hit with a medical emergency or home repair in the same year, you'll have to pull even more, creating a spiral of tax and stress. This is why financial planners urge retirees to think twice before using large withdrawals for depreciating assets like cars. Because when you use retirement savings for a car, you're not just spending cash. You're spending your safety net. Let's say you're in your late 70s or early 80s, and you're offered a low-interest loan for 72 months. That's 6 years. It sounds tempting, right? Smaller payments, more breathing room. But here's the hard question. Will you still be driving 6 years from now? It's not about fear. It's about being honest with where you are in life. Because here's what happens far too often. Someone signs a long-term loan in their 70s. A few years later, their vision declines, mobility gets worse, or their doctor tells them it's time to stop driving. Now they've got a car they can't use, and a loan they still have to pay. Or worse, they sell the car early, but it's worth less than what they owe. So they're stuck paying off a vehicle that's no longer in their garage. That's why loan duration should match your life stage. If you're still sharp, active, and independent, great. But don't sign up for 6 years of payments when 3 might be more realistic. In many cases, paying cash for a less expensive vehicle or choosing a shorter-term loan with a slightly higher payment gives you more flexibility and peace of mind. Because in retirement, it's not about maximizing what you own, it's about minimizing what you regret. When it comes to buying a car on a fixed income, you don't need a fancy formula or a spreadsheet with 18 tabs. You need simple, time-tested rules that protect your future and your peace of mind. Let me share 2 of the best. Rule number 1, the 20-4-10 rule for financing. This is a smart guideline if you're planning to finance your vehicle, 20% down payment. You should pay at least 20% of the car's price up front. This lowers your monthly bill and reduces your risk of going upside down on the loan. 4-year maximum loan term. Keep the financing short. The longer the loan, the more you pay in interest, and the longer your finances stay tied to that vehicle. 10% or less of your monthly income. Total transportation costs, including the loan payment, fuel, insurance, and maintenance, should not exceed 10% of your monthly income. Example, if your fixed monthly income is $3,000, all car-related costs should be under $300. Rule number 2, the 5% net worth rule for paying cash. If you're thinking about buying a car outright, this rule can guide you. Spend no more than 5% of your liquid net worth on a car. What's liquid net worth? It's the portion of your assets you can actually use, like cash, IRAs, 401ks, not your house or long-term annuities. Example, if you've got $400,000 in retirement savings, not counting your home, keep your car purchase under $20,000. Why does this matter? Because your net worth is what protects you when things go wrong. If you tie up too much of it in a car, something that loses value, you're weakening your ability to adapt to future changes. Both rules are flexible, not laws, but the principle is the same. Cars should support your retirement, not hijack it. Let's pause here, because everything we've said so far assumes that a car is just a tool, a way to get from A to B. But what if it's more than that? What if that convertible you've dreamed about since you were 30? Or that cherry red pickup you always wanted? Or that hybrid that gives you peace of mind about the environment? What if that car is your dream? Then the numbers don't fully apply, because dreams don't always make financial sense. And that's okay. I once knew a man in his late 60s who had spent decades driving hand-me-down sedans. Always the practical choice. Always the responsible father. But the one thing he talked about for years? A red Mustang convertible. Top down. Driving the coast. He never bought it. He kept waiting for the right time. The right price, the right tax year, the right everything. He passed away before that time ever came. His kids told me later they would have gladly chipped in, but they didn't even know how much it meant to him. So here's the truth. If that car is your one thing, if it feeds your soul, if it represents something bigger than just horsepower and wheels, then maybe, just maybe, it's worth it. But do it with eyes open. Don't hide the costs. Don't pretend it's a budget-friendly move when it's not. Instead, call it what it is. A reward, a fulfillment, a personal milestone. Because if you're going to break the rules, break them on purpose. By now, maybe you're rethinking your car plans. Or maybe you're still unsure whether it's the right time, the right car, or even the right decision. That's good. Because before you make a move, there are 3 simple questions I want you to ask yourself and answer honestly. 1. Would I still be happy with this car if the market crashed tomorrow? Imagine your portfolio drops 20%. Would you still feel at peace with the money you spent, or would the car become a source of stress and regret? If your answer is, I'd panic, it's not the right time. 2. Can I afford this car and still cover my essentials? We're talking medication, groceries, insurance, housing, travel, or emergencies. If the car squeezes any of these out of your monthly budget, it's costing too much. 3. Will this car bring peace or pressure to my life? This one's emotional, but important. If the thought of owning this car brings you relief, joy, and freedom, that's a green flag. But if it makes your chest tight when you think about the payments, insurance, or repairs, it's not peace, it's pressure. And no vehicle is worth sacrificing your peace of mind in retirement. These 3 questions won't show up on a dealership form, but they'll tell you more than any brochure or monthly quote ever could. Because buying a car isn't just about transportation, it's about how you want to live. In the end, this video wasn't just about cars, it was about control. Retirement isn't a finish line, it's a transition. A shift from earning to drawing down, from building to protecting. And every big purchase you make, especially one with wheels, becomes a statement about what you value most. So here's the bottom line. A car should give you freedom, not take it away. It should support your lifestyle, not compete with your essentials. And most importantly, it should fit the life you want to live, not the one a salesman tries to sell you. You don't have to drive the newest. You don't have to drive the cheapest. You just have to drive what lets you sleep at night. And if you're still unsure, that's okay. Take your time. Talk to a trusted advisor. Run the numbers again. Even sleep on it. Because unlike your working years, there's no race now. You've already earned the right to move through life on your terms. So make the decision that protects your future. And remember, peace of mind will always outlast horsepower. Outro, CTA, gentle. If you found this helpful, share it with someone you love. And if you're curious about how dealerships actually profit off your decisions, check out our next video, How Car Dealers Make Money From You, the 4-circle trick.